Oh man, it's hard to choose between these two teams. They
Right?
both look so incredibly good.
I've been so hyped for this match, and it was crazy that it happened to be the last day. I'm
Yeah,
like, how
yeah.
beautiful is that?
This is the match, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'd say they're both so evenly matched, and watching both of these teams throughout the tournament too, they've gotten better. You know, like watching like Moonmeander, for example. I watched him play Nyx Assassin, and I didn't know it was possible for Nyx Assassin to look that flashy. You know, it's like going back to the times of like when people were going Blink and going for those big Ravage plays with Nyx Assassin stun. It was kind of like bringing back to that era, seeing he was like stunning people up high grounds through trees with like the last little fraction of the stun that you could get to save his teammates like 7 times in a row. Where it's like, come on, man, this isn't a flashy hero. What are you doing? Imagine if he was on something like Ember Spirit, which he does play a lot.
No, it was. I actually happened to scope a bit of that replay. Moon was playing out of his mind that game. He has games where it seems like he's just balling out of control. Other games where it seems like he has a slower time kind of picking up the pace, but you can tell he's very into the game right now, calling the shots, very vocal. Even when I peeked into some of the pub games, he seems like just very nerd sweaty as of recent, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing to have.
Oh, he's so sweaty in the best possible way.
Yeah.
It is such a pleasure to play with that guy. Actually, he completely carries the game. He could have his hands off his keyboard and he'd probably carry the game just because his calls are so good.
Okay, we can't jinx him now, all right? We can't jinx him. We don't know what the hell's going to be in store for us for this series. It's a serious one. They're battling out for first seed. You know, regardless of what even happened yesterday with Quincy Crew in their match, they'd still have to play crazy, and then if they won today, it would be the same result because it's the head-to-head battle for first seed. And the advantage for first seed going into playoffs is they get to choose their opponent in the first round, and you have EG in the third spot. So I imagine whoever wins this is probably going to pick Business Associates and go for them in the first round. So it is important to get the win here.
Yeah, especially because of what happened in the Business Associates series as well. They were losing to Thunder Predator, and that we had the whole disconnect of Thunder Predator and then a forfeit on the third game. So it's this very interesting situation where it looks like Business Associates is possibly the weakest team out of the top 6. Maybe top. You could argue with C9, and of course Business Associates can always come back. Like that's a roster of people who have played for a very long time. But with that being said, you know, there's, like you said, there's EG, so it's a pretty clear choice. So this match definitely does matter a lot.
All right, look at some of the fun picks already coming out in this one. Jakiro pulls out its ugly heads. We don't get to see it a whole lot often. Feels like an incredibly niche type of pickup, but I mean, this you can't deny that this hero, who I imagine is going to be on the support side of things, has a lot of great tools and utility. Long range stun, he can push towers, he can spam early. He's on the tankier side, so he can take a bit of a beating in the laning phase. But, you know, we're not seeing him a whole lot, though. So I don't know if this is like a trial type of thing, or if they somehow sense that Jakiro's a direct counter to Void or Grimstroke. But, hey, I like to see it. It's different.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. It's definitely one of those heroes that I would say a lot of pro players would say it's like more on the underrated side. There are a lot of people that play it in pubs, but it doesn't really make its way into competitive too often for whatever reason. Sometimes heroes, you just have a priority list of other heroes you want to try out first. And finally, you know, with all the nerfs and everything, we finally get to see Jakiro, because I do think it's a solid hero. Like you said, there's so many good things about this hero. And Storm Spirit pickup, pretty nice against Void. I've actually heard a few Storm Spirit players say that Storm is one of the better counters to PL, because you just do a big zip onto his illusions, you isolate which one is the real PL, and you burst him down. And really, there's this doppelganger ability is not a big deal when you have a hero that can immediately just zip on wherever you doppelgangered, even if it's on a high ground, and then also do damage to those illusions, so you get to see which one is the real PL. So this is just a great hero at catching with and dealing with that Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, and you already have the support staff, you assume, out there from Quincy Crew, and though there is the curse, I guess you could say, is a bit of lockdown, there's not much else to offer to stop this Storm from really doing as he pleases. Now, they have the Void Spirit, a bit of a flex pick. You know, MSS has played this in the off lane, So they do have an option to get something Quincy or something for Quinn. Very powerful. But I love this. Look at Crazy. They say we're going to pull a flex ourselves. Who the hell's going mid? Who the hell's going off lane? Do you know? I don't know. What is this? We got DK, we got Storm, and we got Beastmaster all on Crazy side.
Yeah, this is the Skeeter classic. Just kind of last pick him DK. This is the scary thing about Crazy. And I mean, obviously both teams have this too, just because both teams have such versatile players. But with Skeeter, he plays a lot of these kind of off lane and the safe lane heroes like the DKs, like the Necrophoses, and but he also can play some Juggernaut going Battle Fury. So with this last pick, you don't know whether they're going to do kind of an early game run at you lineup or just a late game lineup. And they chose the run at you lineup. This DK, very, very aggressive early game kind of pushing hero. And you're right, they did pick Quinn Invoker. So that means it's a offlane Wyvern. Really cool. Or offlane Void Spirit.
Yeah, MSS Void Spirit, something we have seen. It's not one of those more self-sufficient big meat tank offlaners that we have seen more in the meta, but definitely has the kill power potential if paired appropriately, which I would imagine is potentially going to be with the Wyvern this game in a matchup that they'll go against DK. So I don't know who really wins in that. I feel like DK is going to be able to hold his own. He's damn tanky and should still find his way to own his own CS with having possibly something like the Jakiro kicker. It feels like they might be able to just kind of each get their own.
Yeah, I think so.
But how about this PL lane here? So PL potentially to more of the safe lane. He's got a matchup against Rubik. Okay, Rubik and Beast, not too bad. Fadebolt's going to be nice to kind of help keep the PL in check a bit.
So I would say if the Beastmaster, if Kezu goes for an Axis build, you can deal pretty effectively with the Phantom Lancer. If he goes for the board build, then Phantom Lancer is a counter to Beastmaster. With Rubik, it's a little different. Like you said, the Fade Bolt on the Illusions is really nice for isolating the real PL, as well as just making sure that he doesn't do any damage because of the right-click reduction. But we'll see with Beastmaster, because the Axis build is something I have seen a lot of high-level Beastmasters kind of tinkering with a little bit. But it can also be a throw, because if you are putting early levels in those Axes, and by the time it comes to where you need to push the tower and you don't have max bore, it can feel pretty bad. So we'll see what he chooses.
What do you think is probably the most important lane for this one to really keep eyes on? For the team to really lead down that trail of success. Is it the mid lane matchup where you're likely to be seeing the Invoker versus the Storm Spirit to allow one of these two to start to really go off the rails, or is it one of the side lanes that's going to become really eye-catching here?
So definitely this DK Void Spirit lane is going to be somewhat of a snooze fest. Any DK lane is, and I suspect that's why they swapped the Void to be a core here, because they know that you can lane basically anything against a DK in the off lane and it's going to do fine, but DK is going to do fine. So definitely not that lane. The mid lane, the Invoker is very important, because that's your primary rotator. That's the hero that's going to be running around, getting the Vessel, killing the DK eventually, killing the Storm with high levels and Cold Snap, killing the Beastmaster with the Spirit Vessel once again. So definitely the mid lane because of the Invoker, but also the off lane is quite important from Crazy, because the Beastmaster is it's that team's kind of tempo hero that's going to be pushing the towers and being aggressive. So I'd say like Invoker and Beastmaster are the two heroes that we definitely want to take a look at. Storm's going to kind of farm a little bit. That hero just hits jungle for 11 levels and until he has a Kaya.
I'm curious, like, where, Spirit Vessel and its value to a team, like how it's going to change. Like, are these cores that normally build into early vessels, have they become like that much more important? Invoker, for example, in this game, maybe Ember in other games. You know, it doesn't feel like it's just going to be like, okay, we'll allow like one of our four to get it. It's like, nah, you might need to get this item sooner and online and in the hands of somebody who's going to stay alive for the fight or at least be close. It's got a decent size. I believe it's like 1,200 range for that aura, but, you throw it on some sort of weak, like nerdy support in the back lines, he might not even get, he might die early on, or he might not be close enough to even get the full impact of the item itself. So.
Maybe you want it on like your traditional offlaners because they can be tanky and survive and keep that aura up for the longest possible time. You're totally right. I agree.
It's going to be interesting to watch the development of that. Also, I'm curious looking over some of the early item pickups. We saw nerfs to the price of stuff like the Bassi and the headdress. And even though you could still kind of buy it in one go early on, you may not be able to put like a clarity with it or a branch. So I don't know if that's going to really change too much for a lot of the players. But I thought it was kind of weird that it's like everybody's buying a headdress. It's like, dude, you're not even going to use that headdress for a mech or whatever. You're just a poser.
Yeah, true. It's true. And still, with all the nerfs, we still have Bassies and headdresses and regen rings. It's
Yeah.
it might be less efficient than it was before the big regen patch, and yet that patch really just let all of us know that, okay, this is a busted strategy that you should start doing, and we just weren't doing it before because, I don't know, we all sucked.
Like,
Now
yeah,
we don't.
even in this game, Biver and SVG both have a headdress for their lane. It's just like we just value having that bit of extra regen for our cores in the lane. But it's like,
Yep.
you guys aren't going to use that much longer and much further. So, we'll have to see.
I do feel like that's going to slowly change. I think we're going to see a lot of the bracers and wraith bands and things like that coming back.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cost efficient right now.
They are. They did take that hit because, obviously the stats don't have the, okay, top lane Biver getting slowly ran down here. One more. Owie tried to go for it from downtown with the dual breath. Will that be enough to burn him, though? Level 1? I don't think so.
Headdress!
The regen, the headdress. Okay, never mind.
Wrong.
I'm wrong. Headdress stays. Headdress platinum tier item, everybody. Everybody buy some, put it in your pocket. We're good now. That just denied that whole point I tried to make there. Okay.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good.
But that is going to be the lane to watch, it looks like, this top lane. Bottom, as you said, a bit of a snooze fest with DK being kind of that impenetrable shield. Plus you have Fade Bolt to make it even harder. Yuar's got at least possibly a Cold Embrace if they decide to level the point. But the creep wave's already so far into the tower. Top lane is obviously where the action might kick in.
Definitely. Void versus Beast. I was not expecting that one. This aggro with the DK against PL. I mean, it makes sense. It's going to be definitely DK favored a little bit.
Yeah, a bit annoying, though. DK doesn't like to deal with all that, and he needs a couple of levels first before he can really be tanky. As he's getting put into the trees now. You spoke too soon. We're cursing everybody all over the place.
Good lord.
He does end up going down at that same moment, though, as we can see on the sidebar. MSS able to take down Kezu in that top lane.
Not sure entirely how that happens. I mean, Grimstroke lanes, Inkswell plus the Void Spirit. That does seem pretty good, but Beastmaster, you definitely have to put yourself a little bit out of position to die to that. You do have the boars to play with, and you are against a melee hero, but
he's got to respect it now. You got to give the respect to the kill potential there, as you mentioned, between the Void and the Grimstroke. It's very good. Moon managed to snipe Yuar's little courier, just kind of being a little out of position near the tree line there. Cute little pickup for Rubik. But I scope out mid lane. It's neck and neck here, which is good to see because Quinn has been putting on a clinic in the mid lane for most of this Pro Series. Every matchup, whether it be favorable or not, it seems like Quinn's either hanging neck and neck or just dominating. And for now, it looks like these two are pretty close, with maybe Bryle inching ahead. The XP is also going in his favor a bit, as Quinn will take the wave around the corner and double it up.
Definitely a very close matchup in terms of player skill. I would say that both Quinn and Bryle outskill a lot of the mid laners in this tournament individually. Like, they're just kind of on another level. But against each other, they're so close. They are so close.
Yeah, definitely have to see how that one takes off a bit. As we see a battle over the side pull here at the top lane. MSS charging forward a bit. Trying to find an opportunity to maybe make a go onto Owie, but Owie is able to step off and away from potential trouble. He holds a lot of regen here, Owie. Looking to kind of remain in the mix in this top lane as much as possible. Curious how he's been using this liquid fire, if he's just straight up harassing MSS or trying to just keep Biver in check. I've always been curious on this, like babysitting Jakiro, how much he can really, get his influence into the lane here.
Definitely a good Void Spirit's a good target. I know that in the mid lane, people have actually run Jakiro against Void Spirit as a counter, just because you have that physical damage shield, but it does absolutely nothing to Jakiro's massive amount of magical damage. So it's actually considered a counter to some degree.
He's going for the side pull. Not able to get it there, so the creep wave will remain in a good position for the Quincy side. You are down bomb, 23 and 2 CS to Skeeter's 20 and 2 on the DK. DK's now got those 2 bracers, as you were mentioning before, so he's much more impenetrable at this point, and it will take much more effort to take down. Bryle's taking a leave of absence in the mid lane to step off in the jungle to try to accelerate his XP and farm a bit, but that does leave Quinn on his own, and KheZu goes down top lane. MSS and Biver able to get the jump on him once again. They recognize that Owie has departed from the lane going for that 5-minute bounty rune, and they just capitalize on the core in the lane.
Yeah, interesting timing with that they choose to go for that kill over the bounties, because bounties still give the same amount of gold that they used to, whereas kills have been nerfed. So, but I mean, that is just choosing to value XP over gold, which I can understand. I know a lot of people are doing that in this patch. Is XP is supposedly king, you know.
No, I would agree. I've heard that too. Bounties certainly have a high amount of value, but you know, Quincy, like you said, maybe favoring XP, maybe a little bit of mental damage as they could get back-to-back kills onto KheZu in the top lane. That would be a little bit extra mental damage there if they can make it happen. Snipe a boar, but they are holding the line here, and it's put KheZu at a 12 CS to Void's 26 for the time being. Looks like mid lane, we have a rotation coming out. SVG stepping in, he's got a DD. And he's got the long attack coming out. And, you know, using that Arctic Burn, him and Quinn are able to chunk down Bryle. Take him out before he gets to that level 6. You know, Quinn getting that level 6 a bit sooner now. Moonmeander left behind to kind of get some solo XP, but they are still gooning on him right now. And they'll also finish him off. Double kill. Both of it goes to SVG.
And this is all the while the siege creep is hitting at the tower, so it's 50% HP. It's I mean, I don't think they're going to kill it. I don't think they have the resources to tank the tower, but
that's a significant amount of damage this early on in the game for such a valuable tower. And right on Bryle's return, he gets welcomed with a Tornado EMP. So already going to have to start sipping the bottle on this one. And Quinn's at level 7, so he's already taken off quite nicely in this mid lane. And top, oh, sorry, it's a bit of harassment onto MSS. Looks like he's fine.
Denies the board, easy.
And denies the catapult. All right.
SVG is top. Did they see him? Did they catch him with that ward? They did.
Yeah, they're pinging him out. He's at half life. They look past Owie and go right for KheZu again. And he goes down. Man. And they're not done. Man, SVG roaming around. I don't know what SVG's been doing lately, but he's got to keep doing it. Yesterday, he had a clockwork game, and it was just the chef's kiss, man. He's been all over the place, setting up kills, looking at opportunities. Mid lane.
Bryle's getting solo kills.
Oh, my gosh. Manages to leap out of that one, but the urn and the poking, he can't hang, and he has to walk out from the lane.
I mean, he has no... Okay, he's getting his bottle filled. His supports are really bailing him out here with these TPs to bottle fill. Because otherwise he has to walk all the way back to base, and good lord, on Storm Spirit, he's got boots and he's 330 move speed. That is sad.
This is getting away from him. Before he gets to level 7, Quinn might get to level 8. Bottom lane, we're going to see some action here. Skeeter pulled out the Dragon Form, and they're getting their first bit of damage on a pretty nice bottom tier 1 tower. But here comes Quincy crew. They rotate in. MSS going to be leading in off the charge with the Inkswell, but a good lift from Moon pushes him back, but they're going to continue to pursue here. They're looking to go for the Dragon Man. And he is trying to fly through the trees here. Moon doesn't have a lift for a while, but it looks like that opportunity is going to be gone. They shove him back and hold their tower.
It defends the tower, which is probably all they wanted to really achieve there. But I think if MSS had any more mana, if he had some sort of mana sustain item, or if his team had Arcane Boots, he can actually kill Skeeter there. So Skeeter's got to be a little careful, although he's pretty happy farming this stack here.
But really nice early game so far for Quincy crew. You're looking at MSS still jumping into action here, level 6, as they try to make a new approach onto Skeeter. This time, no Dragon Form for you, man. Sir Davian's going to fall. SPG takes that one, too. This man is just slaughtering names now, whether he means to or not. But here we go. Bryle, his call to action going on the offensive for really the first time this game, is going to pocket a 3-times kill streak, and he'll take the double as he finishes off SVG. Now, I know they nerfed down a bit of the bounty for the golden XP at this point, but still, that gets Storm Spirit, you know, right back into action.
Yeah, he needed that. He really desperately needed that. I think if he doesn't get those kills there either, it's he's sad about that, you know, because he definitely needs that gold. This hero can feel pretty useless until he, like, once again, gets that Kaya and level 12. That's really the timing where Storm of Spirit feels like a complete beast, where you have those long zips.
Oh man.
So
Quincy really wants to get that mid tier 1. Quinn continues to poke at it, and as you see, Crazy really want to defend it here as they pull in Moon to the mid lane. Now they look to go for their jump. SVG has stepped a little too far and away, and he can't get back in time to bail out his friend. He went to go defend the rune. That was fantastic timing from Crazy to recognize the support was going to depart from the lane. He turns around with the curse here onto Moon. Does a little bit of damage, but that's not going to finish him. And they'll just walk away from that. So wonderful approach from Crazy to get the jump onto Quinn.
He's playing a little aggressive in the mid lane, I guess, kind of feeling himself at this point, because it's just been such a crazy good game for them. But you know, walking through the river against 3 heroes, I'm not sure if he knew the Rubik was there, but like the Rubik being able to lift into the what's it called, the Storm Remnant, it's just so much damage at this point with the level 3 and Remnant on Storm. Like, Bryle is definitely bringing this game back from the brink.
They're on the chase. They're looking for Bryle in the jungle here. Fiverr and Quinn smoked up. They've spotted him, but Bryle is able to leap down to the low ground. I don't know if he knows Quinn is around the corner, though. Looks like he will just bail out from what could be a precarious position and gets back to the safety net of his base. This is a lot of good time for Crazy to get back on the farm grind here in these side lanes a bit. Skeeter right back into action in the bottom lane with Owie to get some XP and levels. While top Kezu did have some free time to farm up. He was stuck at level 5 for what felt like a hot minute, but he gets himself up to level 7, and now they have that Primal Roar available if Crazy want to, you know, have a call to action.
Yeah, they definitely could kill this Phantom Lancer. I think that's that's the next pick if you're gonna smoke to kill somebody or make a rotation to kill somebody. It's the PL. Your DK doesn't really do that much, so you're gonna need your Storm to TP in here or to zip in with the smoke that they're doing.
But help is around the corner. Quinn, see crew have some support waiting back in the woods, but they're getting pinged out heavily. Crazy are smoked, and they're looking to come possibly in from behind. Owie drops a real nice ward on the high ground.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
And Quincy moved forward. I think they spotted that, and quickly Crazy just say, let's go elsewhere and push the side lanes.
What is Owie doing? Is he going for the snipes on the courier, or?
I don't know. He doesn't have any more wards on hand. Oh, there's the courier. Get it. Got it. One more. Yeah. That's a big courier. It's got a clarity on it. Big one. Mid lane, jump from MSS. Yeah, he goes for Bryle. Bryle jumping up and out. We'll be able to make it away. But he is getting pressured every time he comes and tries to find a little safe pocket to farm up. Quincy seemed to be on the manhunt for Storm.
It's true. They're pushing him out. But there doesn't seem to be great instant disable for Bryle. And he's deeping up the regen.
Ooh, yeah, because Kezu nearly gets jumped. He's able to survive with the assistance coming in from Skeeter. He turns around, dishes out his ult, and they're going to finish off MSS.
Unfortunately, Bryle gets his regen canceled. Otherwise, I think he can probably keep zipping there. Maybe go for Yuar. Yuar's getting close to the Diffusal Blade. He's about 1,200 gold away. And then things are going to start really picking up for Quincy crew.
Yeah, Quincy have taken a couple of losses, but that's pretty much been only MSS. Quinn still holding strong, and as you mentioned, Yuar keeps his farm consistent to kind of be the, you know, insurance policy for Quincy, if you will. But they're in a good spot. They got that mid-tier 1. They got that top-tier 1. They're very invasive right now in the Crazy territory. Oh, and he snipes. He's going to take my friend's courier. I'm going to take your extremely expensive Platinum Roche courier.
Gets a taste of his own medicine there.
And I didn't see what was on the courier, but, you know, couldn't have been any better or worse than a clarity. So
yeah, it was walking back. So
okay. Nothing.
I think he already got it. But it's just a little bit of you know, you take my courier, I'll take yours, buddy.
And that could be a couple of clarities that Owie would love to have within these next few moments. But now he's going to have to hold off and wait as he pushes that top lane to himself. You know, surprised to not see as much Jakiro as mentioned in the draft, because he's able to still do this, like hang in a side lane and quickly push it out, which is something we like to see a lot of the supports in this meta be able to do. MSS
yeah,
is still
super nice. He can die if he's not careful on Owie. I mean, MSS might have noticed that his resonant pulse got a little bit of. There's a little animation there. There's a dragon in the trees. It showed that it like sucked up his damage or whatever.
I'm curious if he was looking at himself or privy to it at all. You are on the way, but they have that ward still on that high ground, so they'll see Yuar's heading up and into the jungle here. And there's a long draw on the map. It looks like Crazy are going to take a trip up north now, Jenkins, to see if they can find a Phantom Lancer perhaps, or maybe MSS.
Yeah, coin.
You are just retreating back into his triangle, so it looks like they won't get him, but they might be able to get MSS. This is a hard hero to go for, though. They need to start with Moon Meander.
They
so
walk
close.
past him. They walk past him. They spot him. Oh, Owie pings him. They drop the ward, and now the hunt is on. I don't think MSS knows he's in trouble yet, and now he will realize. He tries to shift himself out. The chase is on. He makes it the high ground, makes it the low ground. Oh, God, Mojo able to make it back to his team. That was a 4-man rotation from Crazy to get back their jungle. And now Quincy are going to approach. They catch Kezu possibly here. Oh, no, swing and a miss on the tornado. But they still managed to run him down.
I mean, that's exactly what you want to see from a Void Spirit is dodging ganks like that. I'm surprised they didn't lift into an immediate roar. I think they were trying to be they were trying to save it for a potential fight afterwards. But I mean, they were right. The smoke was coming, but as a result, MSS survives and comes back in with a fury.
And now it could cost them Moon Meander at the mid lane as Quincy crew continue to roam about. MSS jumps in and gets that finish. And now they think about heading straight to the bottom lane where, you know, Skeeter has been bulldozing down the lane. Goes into his Shadow Blade and may not know that Yawar was kind of stalking a bit in Viz. And now Crazy going to go for the top. Jump in from Bryle. A pullback on Quinn. Quinn is alone. Rotations are on the way. Can he survive? No, he can't. Rotations here. It's Yawar now looking to run on in. Silence onto Storm. Storm not going to be able to make it out. He goes down.
That clumsy net paying dividends for Yawar right there.
I saw that. I was like, who has the net? And it is Yawar. And it does work. It's kind of that perfect item to have in that moment when you're going for a Storm kill.
Yeah. It's all you need is a couple of, a fraction of a second as PL and you can drain somebody's mana to 0. So it really does make sense on this hero. I know a lot of carry players are favoring the net just because of the stats and mana regen. It just lets you keep pumping out all of your spells to farm, which is a cool take on it. Usually they don't really care all that much about the little disable you get from it, but in this case, very effective.
Bottom has really been the safe haven for Crazy for the past, what feels like 5 to 10 minutes, and they're congregating back there again. Skeeter had been scouting things out along with Kezu's critters, and now, like 2 ships in the night, Quinn and Skeeter side by side, but they have that sentry now. They know Skeeter's here in Viz, in dragon form. And Bryle jumps in to catch backliner SVG, and they snipe him down. That will reveal that there is some vision on Crazy's side. And Quincy quickly backpedal to the other side of the mid lane, hoping to have high ground.
Radiant's middle tower
And,
is under attack.
with only some moments left of this dragon form, they need to get more damage on this tier 1. This tier 1 is still standing with a decent amount of life. Surprised Crazy not able to kind of break it down yet. But it's very awkward for them to approach. I mean, what is their jump? It's just Bryle, it feels, and that is very scary for him to just kind of throw himself into the fray.
Definitely. With the Wyvern respawning too, it's scary. That's such a solid counter initiator. Moon does see SVG here, but SVG has a sentry.
Oh, but they have Quincy coming in from the northern side, right through the jungle, and they catch out Kezu first. That's a Primal Roar going to be taken off the table. Are they going back in? Skeeter says, let's fight. Runs in. He has no dragon form, but he snipes down Quinn. Quinn not expecting that one. Gets blasted. It also is going to cost them Biver. Quinn immediately buys back, and they TP in, and that's when Crazy pull out.
That's bad. Quinn has like 500 more net worth than Kezu. The guy that was level 3 to the level 5 of MSS. That is rough from that buyback and that death. You know, the amount of times I've seen that happen where the Beastmaster dies, but the units just keep absolutely beating the shit out of somebody. Like, Quinn just did, he's like, okay, Beast is dead. There's no way these units are going to do damage to me. But the Ancients start hitting him, and the Boars keep hitting him, and all of a sudden he's 40% HP, and before he can get away, already Bryle zips.
It's a wonderful heads-up play from Crazy to snipe that opportunity. Now Quinn has to lose a couple of paychecks, it feels like, having to dip into the savings to get that buyback out just so he can put himself back on the map. And now they shift all the way back through to the top lane to kind of establish control of the Crazy side of the map. This is what they built up for themselves so early in the game, succeeding in taking down that mid-tier 1 and that top-tier 1 so early. They cannot afford to hand over that real estate back to Crazy. But let's say this game continues to progress, Jenkins. Do things continue to tip in favor of Quincy because they have this URPL, or can Crazy still, swing with the best of them?
I think Crazy can swing with the best of them, just considering the Storm versus PL matchup is quite good. Storm is not your traditional mid laner. He really can carry games. He's kind of like a pseudo carry in the mid lane. It's in a kind of different sense because he's not doing like physical damage, but the big zips, they can be absolutely devastating for PL. Even if he gets a heart, the Storm zips just do way too much damage. And Bryle's having a fantastic game.
All right, mid lane, Yules, it's on to Viver. Centaur Stomp is there. I thought it was a bit early, but he's stunned up, and the Ice Path. But that Cold Embrace, keeping him alive. Can they snipe him down? The burn is there. That man is alive. Oh no! Bryle says,
it's the TP.
I am cleaning that plate, sir. And he dives all the way through with the TP to make it out, but it will cost them Kezu as Yawar's able to muscle him down, and they're not done yet. That Spirit Vessel on the DK. Oh, but he gets the ice wall, and he just Shadow Blades away. They have no detection, and he is gone. Oh, that could have been a very juicy secondary kill for Quincy,
huge.
but they'll just take a trade. Maybe a slight favorable one for Crazy, of course, getting Kezu. Kezu's had a rough game, 0-6 on the Beastmaster, from the laning phase, and then just getting constantly targeted in these pickoffs. He's had no good opportunities to really be with the team and get a Primal Roar out, but maybe this is it. They've smoked up. They're going on the move. Kezu will TP in, and he might be able to show up into this fight and dish out a big ulti. They're leading it off. They're jumping onto MSS. They wipe him out immediately. There will be no chance for a response from Quincy on that one.
We have a DD regen on Bryle. That is very convenient timing. It looks like they might opt to go for Roche, although Skeeter's looking for a quick pick-off beforehand with the DK form.
They do
They
scout
know
it.
what's happening.
Yep. Can they do anything about it, though? They're heading that way to posture up as if they can amount a defense. And already Crazy pulling out from the pit. They're showing they have vision on that high ground, and they're looking to use it here. They're moving in for Quinn. They hit him over the dust. They lock him down with the ice, and they finish him off. Big grab there. He bought back before. He's going to be out in 70 seconds, and they got Yawar. It's Kezu's time. He got the roar needed, and he put it onto Yawar, and they finish him off. Here come Crazy. They'll get a hold of SVG and make him pay the price because he was a witness to the crime. Now, do Crazy want to backpedal? Do they want to get the Roche? They're paying it, and it looks like they do. And this is probably the most significant advantage for one team in this game so far. Crazy with a big swing of momentum there.
Super, super good heads-up play to kind of debate the Roche like that and then just immediately zip in with the one-person advantage that they had, and immediately killing Quinn is good as well. I mean, there just wasn't a good Winter's Curse there for SVG. Like the Crazy lineup, they were just standing so far away from each other and going on multiple different targets that there was no good Winter's Curse. But really, that's all set up just by the fact that Crazy made the call of let's go into the Roche pit and then bait it and then just immediately go and fight them on our ward on the high ground.
The ward, yeah. The ward really being that MVP. Owie's ward game has been stellar to allow them to get that bit of information when they need to make those critical decisions, whether it's the time to fight, whether it's the time to bail out. Owie's ward game has provided so much already for Crazy in this one, and now we're seeing Quincy getting pushed back a bit and, could be forced into a position where they're really starting to rally behind Yawar and his PL more so. We're not seeing them go out on these little expeditions anymore where they can get these successful ganks on the Kezu and company. We might see them take a more defensive posturing stance. Certainly now that the Aegis is going to be in control by Crazy. But mid lane, Quinn does show himself, and a Meteor is going to be stolen from Moon. He throws the meatball right back his way. He's like, I got a little bit of that spicy stuff for you. Top lane, long jump in for your War. He is out and on his own, and now surrounded by Bryle, Skeeter, and some crazy guys. He goes down. Is there going to be a response? Quinn moves in, spots Owie, hits him with the Vessel, but Owie in exchange for Yawar is still a nice one for Crazy. Crazy thinking about fighting here. They have the Dragon Form. Skeeter stuns up MSS, forces him back. Bryle going in for more, goes to the high ground. He pulls SVG up there with him and tries to finish it out. Viver's going to hit them with the ulti, but there's no follow-up. Crazy just taking over right now.
I don't know what happened with Yawar. That he just got caught up by the DK stun, I guess, with the Shadow Blade, and that, I mean, that's a disaster. Like you said, they basically have to rally behind Yawar right now. So if he's getting picked off at the start of fights, it is not going to be possible for Quincy crew to take a fight. They have to have Yawar show up last. He needs to go in after all of the spells have been cast and start burning that mana. And at this point, I kind of feel like he needs to kill Moon Meander. Getting caught out. He is definitely dead.
That's a support line out on his own, and kind of one of those sacrificial lamb moments to, you know, whether it be moving around, getting information, sniping a bounty, what have you.
Way she goes.
It's just one of those things of convenience, I guess, for Quincy to be able to pick up. But man, after Crazy get all the success, the rest of the main cores step back, get a lot of good farm, and we could see them start to take off here. They have some time on this Aegis to work with if they want to. But man, when Skeeter finishes off this BKB, that's going to be a real nice power peak for them.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they deal with him when he has the BKB. There's just no damage that goes through right now.
Yeah, you are not at that level to deal with that kind of a monster yet. He would certainly need more time or more picks. They do move around now more as a buddy system as a unit. They take the outpost away from Crazy side at the top, considering theirs is now missing from the bottom. But Crazy trudging forward in this bottom lane is going to force Quincy to come back and check it out. I don't think they're going to do anything with this Aegis right now, it seems.
Yeah, they're just chilling. This is, I mean, I'm kind of getting a feel for this Crazy draft now that we're getting into like the mid to late game. It looks like Owie's getting. I mean, this is just Jakiro special. This is what happens.
And just throwing everything he has at the lane to keep that pressure there, even after he dies with laying down the macro pyre.
It's to some degree though that this is part of their strat. Is they have this Kezu Beastmaster, they have the DK with the Shadow Blade and a Dragon Tail setup, and then Bryle can do these long zips.
They have the sentry on the high ground. Quinn steps forward, steps back. It kind of jukes Bryle a bit. They have a jump on MSS. The Cold Embrace is going to be there, but they do manage to finish Bryle, and that's going to cost them the Aegis. Winter's Curse onto the DK, who's there on the high ground. Now they look to the jump. Can they somehow finish off Bryle before he's pulled away? He's taunted up, he's locked down, but he does make it out, and he balls way out and away to safety.
So they do get the Aegis. I mean, that's something. That means in a future fight, if the same sort of pickoff happens, Bryle will die, but I also imagine he was being not super cautious, just considering the fact that he had that Aegis.
Yeah.
So.
But they have no Dragon Form, and Quincy feel a little confident. They move forward in this mid lane. Bryle's there, but they don't have that catch, you know. It's something that was missing in their draft a bit. Not any way to kind of jump in on the storm and really start it. They have to hope he missteps and they can just dogpile onto him like we just saw in that previous little skirmish.
It's basically Wyvern ult. Like that's the way that they have to set up, which it can sometimes feel bad when that's your only really instant long range setup. But you got to do what you got to do in this game.
Yeah, that's what they have drafted themselves into, showing that the support duo. I mean, Grim and Wyvern early in the draft, you know, there's a talk of a lot of flex picks, but they're not really as flexible, right? There's no chance, you know, really, you're not going to be seeing them as the mid lane or the off lane. Like, yeah, maybe there's been a couple of cute games here and there, but for the most part, you're revealing your hand, and this may be a victim of that, you know, with this Storm really doing as he wants, and you know, Crazy holding a 3K advantage. Yeah, go ahead.
When you do play Grim or Wyvern as a 4, you're really just another 5. Like, you're still gonna get the glimmers and the ether lenses. It's not like an Earth Spirit, you know. It's they're very set in their ways. Whatever role you play, you
Yeah.
kind of do the same.
Whether it be 2 5s or like 2 4.5s or something, it's just kind of like they're each getting their own, a couple of key little items, but the toolkit is still there. And as long as they
Yeah,
have the
it's still the
levels,
same.
they'll still be able to chip into these fights as long as they don't get picked off. But that's a challenge in itself because you have people like Storm Spirit, Bryle jumping around the back lines and could be causing a bit of a problem. And, you know, now we got to see what Quincy can do with this window of time. There's no more Aegis. And, Bryle
It's
leaps
right
right
into it.
onto Quinn. He has that BKB now, though. And he's forced to use its debut charge in that moment. But
Yeah, not how you want to use that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, he's glad that that's the first time that that's happened when he had the BKB, because good lord, if he does not have that BKB, that Aghanim Scepter on Void Spirit is enough to see.
they smoke. They head back to the mid lane. It's just going to be Owie. You know, 5-man smoke movement for, okay, I was going to say, they better finish that. They better finish that meal over there. They do. They're trying to get more. You know, Owie alone doesn't feel that great, so they'll turn it into an outpost takedown. But they're thirsty, man. You can feel the thirst of Quincy within this moment. They're hustling around trying to find some of these sleeping cores on the crazy side to continue to farm up. But Yawar, respect to him, still continues to bring in the CS. He's got his basher done and 1,200 in the pocket.
Yeah, the game kind of quieting down and evening out a bit, I think, definitely favors Chaos, just because, well, speaking of Chaos, there was a little too much of it for their preference with this PL hero. We talked about him needing like 3 or 4 items before he can really do the damage that's needed to win this game, and you know, he's getting the time now because of that Aegis pickoff, and Bryle using BKB, and just the last string of events that have happened for Quincy crew are very favorable to them, just because, like you said, they have this PL that is farming.
Oh. The lens pickup on Owie is intriguing to me. I've never noticed it before. Normally you see Jakiro's pick up Yules, you know, for that easier Ice Path setup. But here, likes the range of the Ice Path, range of Dual Breath, the range of Macropyre.
Yeah, he's got good setup. I think he's got solid setup. He doesn't really need to buy Yules and set himself up when he's got a Beast, he's got a Dragon Knight, and a Rubik.
Fair enough.
And Bryle, to some degree.
That's true. They smoke. They're heading high ground. Drop the ward first. Do they have a sentry, though? Oh, Quinn does, though. He's not close enough to pop too much of the smoke, but they are going to dodge that one. The gank train comes through the station and goes right up north.
Ooh, they see an Arcane Rune top. Yeah, Bryle pings it. He wants that.
Owie there. Quinn nearby.
Do they see Quinn? They do see Quinn. They see him with the Beast units. That kind of reveals the sentry, though.
Oh, they smoke to the low ground. Long jump from Bryle to get it. Are they going to punish him for it, though? The immediate curse.
He's
Going
dead.
to be dedicated to this, but he pops the BKB. A long Ice Path and Macropyre are going to be unleashed from Owie on the back line. And they're going to burn through MSS. He's forced to buy back now.
There's a gem on the ground. MSS lost a gem.
MSS goes to the outpost up north here and is going to be forced to jump to the low ground. He gets hit with a roar. Long tornado. But MSS die back there for him. Disaster potentially for Quincy now. As Crazy re-rally, re-jump, and go in. They got Quinn. He's going to be out. No buyback for him. SVG also going to go down. This one is crazy.
With a gem on the deck, too. Oh boy, that was so close to being a dead Bryle, but the Inkswell was just barely mistimed, where it went off right after the Winter's Curse. So Bryle was able to press his BKB. If that Inkswell hits during the Winter's Curse, Bryle is dead, and that whole fight is completely different. It is crazy that one single little, fraction of a second in Dota 2 can determine who wins or loses the fight, and potentially the game.
It's rough because then you just look back and you're like, is this due to the holes in our draft not having those tools available? I mean, they didn't know, obviously, at the time that a Storm was going to be pulled out, but now when you don't feel like you have that stun, that reliable lockdown, in these kind of moments, it really makes you think, unfortunately. And we're seeing Bryle able to kind of get away time and time again in these, and he's going to continue to hold stuff like these the Bloodstone charges and all that money, and he's able to afford the BKB, and that gets him to another level now. And all of that may have been prevented, and they could have brought him down a peg each time, but it's now that's out of their hands, and they're going to continue to rally behind Yawar. Yawar, still top net worth, still trying to be the one true late gamer for this one, but it's a lot to put it all on him because where the tools are kind of lacking a bit on the Quincy side, CR4ZY have so much lockdown, like you were talking about when we were mentioning the Yules on Owie. I mean, there's plenty of answers to keep this PL in check if they do get the approach.
Right. Every single time they get any disable on MSS, on Quinn, on UR, they're just chain disabled until they die. They don't even need damage because they have so much disable that a damn Rubik could right-click somebody to death in that amount of time. I mean, I think their disable probably overlaps a few times. Like they can recast Rubik Lift, for example, at the end of their chain disable. Something like that. Stuns win Dota, Just makes the game a lot easier to play.
Yeah, definitely always feels good to have an array of stuns on your team to work with here. And while the sustain power is good and they got great control, it's not enough when they only have Yawar really bringing the heavy DPS. And now Skeeter scouting him out. They'll pick off SVG. He's the support who fell back behind his team a little too far. And the Sharks will punish that. 9K net worth advantage now for CR4ZY in this one. Oof.
The brow zips from afar with just these other heroes, like basically every hero on his team, barring Owie, can set up for him extremely easily. And they just can't show on the map for the side of Quincy or they die. All of their heroes have to be so scared other than just Yawar, who is managing to keep up, which is pretty impressive considering.
Skeeter mid. He's spotted. I think they know you're there, man. He's going for the Agnums. While a jump from Bryle on the bottom. Oh, Bryle. Uh-oh, Bryle. Bryle loses his Aegis, jumping in for Yawar. Yawar just slaps him till the mana goes away. Uh-oh, and now he gets feared. They try to jump and pounce him, but he pops the BKB, and he looks to turn it right back around on their ass and see if they can blow him up. Curse is going to be there. It locks down the DK, but they still can't finish Bryle. Bryle's going to be fine, and he'll just move on forward, and Skeeter gets the finish on MSS. Oh, man, again, Quincy dishing out everything they got on what they felt was a pristine opportunity to burst down the storm, but he's going to survive.
Kind of feels like he just wanted to use the Aegis there to some degree. He just making a really... Because the last Aegis that they used was kind of like a farming Aegis. So he knows that Quincy's just going to farm around this and split push, etc. So he's like, all right, we're getting something directly in front of your base with this. It's going to be maybe a little bit of a risky play, but I have an Aegis, so it's okay.
Not seeing too much capability from CR4ZY to follow up from these fights and keep the objective forward. We still have a couple of tier 2s out on the map. It's not like they're really rushing up into the base at this moment. So, Quincy have allowed a lot of time for themselves to figure out what plan B or plan C may be. But,
True.
CR4ZY are just, still holding the economy advantage for the meantime. And we'll have to see what they're going to be thinking about if they do eventually want to penetrate the fortress of Quincy in this one and try to go for closure.
It's hard to get the advantage back now with the gold changes. You can kill somebody who has this massive kill streak and it gives you barely anything. You can farm really efficiently and it gives you barely anything. Really, bounty runes are how you get the advantage now, like the big way that you get the advantage back. But I think Yawar picking up potentially a rapier after he gets a satanic is it's obviously a ridiculous time. Maybe not so ridiculous in this patch now that we've seen so many people do it with this new rapier, but it's a timing where legitimately I think CR4ZY would definitely be weaker than Chaos even with a 8 to 9k gold lead, just because rapier is such a strong item. So I imagine waiting for that, or at least the satanic, is something that's favorable to Chaos, and maybe they're waiting for that.
Yeah, Yawar continues to work his way towards that said satanic here. His team hanging out behind him, just in case, as they are not sure what the approach is going to be from CR4ZY's side. CR4ZY up towards Roche neighborhood. We still have plenty of time for that. 2.5 minutes till he may even respawn. CR4ZY happy to take this one a bit slow, it would seem here. Banking that Bryle continues to farm up He's down to 7 charges on his BKB, gets a couple clarities, and he's got a Lincoln's queued up for his next item. A little more, I mean, now it's like, now you don't even have Curse to be able to lock him down once he gets that Lincoln.
Yep, yeah, definitely great Lincoln's game. Abyssal Blade, Curse, like you said, possible sheep sticks that are going to be coming out. Grim is going for a sheep stick, so Beaver at a certain point he's going to have one. Not exactly soon because he is a Grim Stroke, so it doesn't farm exactly quite fast.
But one can dream.
Eventually.
One can dream.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have goals. As Crazy sweep through, Outpost is there. They want to just snag it up. No, MSS spotted. Oh, Ryle not quite able to get the vision and get close enough to go for the pull cancel.
Oh, that was unfortunate. So he had the vision from the ball lightning flying vision, but then because the ball lightning stopped, he lost it for a fraction of a second. But the vortex is not targeted, so it just went off, but on nobody because he's got this Aghanim Scepter.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wow. Well, MSS thinking his lucky stars on that one that he doesn't just get quickly sniped on the side, and we are gonna have a bit of a pause. No reason given, just a straight pause for the Quincy side of things here. As it will give me a moment to actually really reflect and look over some of the items. Things have been a little crazy here. I want to see certainly some of the more neutral items that have been picked up with the tier 3s recently. Quickening Charm for Kezu. We'll get that Primal Roar up that much sooner, which is nice. I know Bryle's had this Mind Breaker for quite a while. What a great item to have on a Storm Spirit for that. And then
Super nice.
On the other side, MSS with his own Paladin Sword for greater healing. Orbit Destruction for Quinn. And then that Titan Sliver, of course, for Yawar. A little bit more attack damage, and the magic resist could help, but you know, we've already mentioned a lot. It's great the PL's at the top of the net worth here for Quincy, but it's just a lot of pressure on him to kind of be able to bring out that kind of damage and somehow survive the onslaught of utility that Crazy can bring to lock this PL in his spot and just wipe out his illusions with ease. You know, it certainly feels like on paper it's very heavily favored for Crazy at this moment, and you know, Quincy are going to have to somehow pull a rabbit out of their hat or their ass and make this game work out for them.
Yeah, it's got to come from somewhere, and I think the ass rabbit is probably the
play?
rapier on
Oh,
PL. Yeah, well, it's certainly the play. Yeah, you always want to pull out that
Wait,
rabbit.
doesn't even know who Wait, what? I thought you war paused. Wait, what? It says you war paused the game. They don't even know who paused. Wait, I paused? You paused? Yeah, you are definitely paused according to my chat log. I guess they'll go.
Yeah,
all right,
I see that too.
That was a nice little break for everybody, I guess, as we'll get back in underway.
This is just how PL players play. They just like slam their hands on their keyboard and hope that things happen.
Like, oh, game's paused. I didn't do that.
Hit the pause key. Yeah,
Must be them. All right, smoke up for Quincy. We'll try to scout the top lane. No one's going to be there. You know, will anybody attend to this mid lane push? Oh, Skeeter. Just out in front. Bryle at the bottom lane. Oh, my goodness. Any chance for them to be able to get this? It's a real hard kill. Doesn't have that Lincoln's yet, but they're going to go in with the Abyssal. Pops the BKB, and he leaps once. He leaps twice. Goes for the TP, but he gets cursed. And they finally bring him down. Cute snipe from Moon for the Winter's Curse, and it actually kills SVG.
You know, sometimes you just got to make a sacrifice to get a kill on the most important
Yeah.
player. That's the way she goes. That's the way of the road.
It's the you got to pay the Pied Piper in some way, and in that sense, SVG will pay to finally get that kill on the Storm to keep that Lincoln's prolonged just a little bit longer, because if he had it in that instance, obviously things would have been quite difficult. Timeless Relic.
Wow, that's a nice item. That is probably the best tier 4 item you can get. I'm a huge Timeless Relic fan.
Who should hold this mighty weapon?
I like it on Storm because he's got this electric vortex. It's already 3.1 second duration with the Aghanim Scepter, and now that's going to be what, like 4 seconds around with AoE disable? I mean, that's a black hole at that point.
Well, with the exception of PL, because he's got the Titan Sliver after all.
True.
Satanic.
True.
And Satanic. Lots of
So you
status
wanted,
resistance there.
Do a math check on that one. Grab my whiteboard.
Don't come my way with that, my abacus here, as they might make a jump on the Skeeter in the bottom lane. But he pops that BKB, and they just torch up MSS if possible. They still have that stolen curse, and they use it onto Quinn to lock him in a spot. But there is the other curse from SVG locking down the DK. They poke at him a bit, but he's a tanky-ass dragon. And he simply flies out. So,
really awkward.
Yeah, fun
really awkward.
fun dance in the river for a break, but neither team really suffering any casualties on that one. Just a couple of items going to be put in check.
Look at this. Look at this dragon illusion mid. This illusionist cape with the dragon ags. That's actually nuts.
Oh man, he has the. Oh yeah, he does. Yeah.
It keeps the dragon form when it wears off the regular dragon, right? And we'll see here. I think it does. It's not like Terrorblade where it morphs back.
It dies before it gets to that point. But my
Yeah,
God,
it does.
what value out of the illusion? My goodness.
Yeah, that's really good. Look how fast it pushes. Although top lane, you
Yeah.
gotta
Quinn
scout here.
creeping in here. Has to be careful. There's a sentry on the ground, but they make the call to not approach Quinn. All chats to let them know.
Yeah, he's
I
not
see
caught
I see what you're doing. I see. But both teams now, lots of respect, both ways.
Catch out him, you are.
Oh, over by the Roche pit. That could be very valuable. The winner of this next skirmish will pretty much get Roche. I think it's.
You are.
Sorry, go ahead.
You are is going for the butterfly instead of the rapier. I was hoping, it was wishful thinking. I thought he was gonna go for some like crazy rapier build, but nah, he's going more standard.
Yeah, no MKB really in sight for either the DK or the Storm. So dealing with the evasion, I imagine it's going to be a bit difficult.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's pretty much going to be Yawar in like one of his purest forms, and if he can't get it done with that butterfly, then that would certainly make Quincy crew a bit nervous.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, Crazy on the move, smoked up, Howie to the high ground. That ward spot he loves so much, plants it down. It does get pinged up as they have a ward there. They know that they know.
You have to fight this. You cannot let them have this Roche if you're Quincy. That is a refresher orb Roche.
They got to get there from the low ground. They can't go to the high ground where the ward is. Roche at about half life. Tornado flies in and Crazy withdraw from the pit. They can play this dance out while Skeeter uses his dragon form here.
Stupendous.
Skeeter's thinking about approaching. They pop the smoke, but he goes right for Quinn. Gets taunted, pulled back. The jumps on from Bryle, looking to go right for Yawar if possible, but the curse is going to be there. And they're trying to muscle him down, but lots of damage, unfortunately, onto Yawar. Could blow him up, and he's out. 90 seconds without a buyback. The firepower is there from Crazy to get it done. And the big chess piece for Quincy going to be gone, and now more casualties to follow as they finish off MSS. They take down SVG, and it looks like Crazy have just opened this game up entirely. And at this point, it may be just too difficult for Quincy crew to pull it back. They could pretty much seal this one, going back, securing the Roche and the Aegis.
Over here now.
Definitely. That was the game-ending fight. Both teams knew it. Whenever you have this Roche that has a refresher or an Agam Scepter, it is way too much of an influx of gold, especially in this economy, in this day and age. This is it's too many free items to give the enemy team at this point in the game. So they knew that they had to fight. Whether or not it was a good fight to take, it doesn't really matter. It's the last fight that they're going to take. And I think Crazy would have just ran down mid and ended the game if it wasn't for the double catapult wave pushing out in the mid lane. So Chaos or Quincy crew as they're called now are a little lucky. Oh, actually not that lucky.
Oh, Quinn, who was pushing out the bottom lane where he thought it was safe, has been spotted out. And he is now finished off.
Radiant's middle tower
They
is under
could go
attack.
for Kezu here if they're quick on it. But okay, no, it looks like he's playing it safe. Look at these catapults, man. They do so much damage.
He's giving it a solar crest too. Ugh. Yeah, just firing it away. He might just slow siege his tier 3 totally down.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Here they go. Skeeter moving in. The big black dragon doesn't have that bonus attack range, but it don't matter. He's getting the job done. They're happy to leave him way out in front. He's got the cheese. And no answer for Quincy. They'll have to sack this one. They have maybe one more fight in them. But, like, who can you even put whoever they dump all their firepower on, whether it be the Storm or whether it be the DK, the other one will certainly be alive to do as they please. Maybe hoping for the Dragon Form to wear off and then a jump onto Bryle, but we'll have to see what Quincy want to do. This is it for game number 1 if they can't do anything. Long jump. Bryle wants to go in.
He's got the Aegis, so he's very comfortable doing this. And just like that, 2 racks. Quincy, they know they can't fight it. I really do feel like the Rapier is the pickup now for Yawar. I don't feel like a standard itemization of a butterfly is gonna win you the game with this gold deficit.
I would agree. If it's like these kind of dire straits, I would agree you need to kind of go all in with an item like that. Unfortunately, it looks like he's already invested so much in this butterfly, he's probably just going to see it out, and they will just hope that it's what they need, and Crazy possibly just do a misstep or an overstep in some way, and it could be one of 3 fights, 4 fights, 5 fights needed for Quincy to somehow pull themselves back into this game.
Yeah, definitely. They need to do some sort of wraparound and maybe kill Aoi and Moon first, which killing Kezu would be pretty important too. He's like the aura carrier, he's the roar. It's definitely the 3 support heroes you want to focus. Going on the DK, that's going to do absolutely nothing. Going on Bryle, that's going to do nothing. I think you need to kill the 3 weak heroes first. Maybe disable the DK and then go on Bryle as the DK is disabled. Obviously, it's asking a lot, but when there's a 24k gold deficit, it's always going to be asking a lot to, how do I win the game? That's going to be a difficult question to answer.
All right, but Crazy in good position now to push down this top lane and go for the final blow, at least go for Megas. They have the refresher now in the pocket of Bryle. He's got the Aegis. He's got Lincolns. They're going to let Skeeter go out front. They jump the Dragon. There's the Ice Path Macropyre. They're going to lay it right on top of him. Bryle goes for the back lines to try to snipe them down. Goes in, goes out. Skeeter still holding strong, living. As they take it to Yawar with the Golden Brace is holding on, but once he comes out from that shell, how is he going to make it away? He somehow doppelgangers out to the corner and has to limp his way back to the base, but that leaves the racks in now Tier 3 susceptible to damage. MSS locked down. He's going to get blasted apart. Jumping from Bryle, round number 2 for his jump in, and he gets both supports and Quinn. Quinn going to get finished. All buybacks pulled out here. This is the final stop. Do Crazy want to just totally retreat? And they do. They're going to force Quincy to just spend every last penny they got. Quincy know it's like they are just in poverty land now. They have to desperately run out to try to catch any stragglers here, knowing that everything's already been committed. This is all they got. They're moving in. It's MSS going against the world here. Swinging it to Skeeter. Skeeter taking it right back his way. Jumping for Bryle. Looking to go in for Biver. Finishes him off right away. Now it's going to be Yawar. And with that, the towel should be thrown in. MSS calls it, and Crazy are going to be taking game number 1 of this best of 3.
You wouldn't have thought from the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game, from what we saw, it was looking really good for Quincy, and then there was a couple of missteps here or there, and then Crazy basically capitalizing on it, and then they really never gave the lead back. They were not looking like they were going to throw at all in this game. Boy.
Yeah, it's hard to say like what it really boils down to. I feel like the biggest, obviously, trouble for Quincy in this one was not having enough tools to keep this Storm in check when he did start to kind of ball out of control in the mid-game. And then that kind of just focuses back to the draft more. They committed to getting the Grimstroke and then even the Wyvern as a 3rd pick, but showing those 2 and both of them not really having a lot of flexibility means that there's only so much lockdown that's going to be available. They commit for the Bryle Storm Spirit in the 4th pick on the side of Crazy, and at that point, Quincy don't have a lot that they can do. So they're just banking that Quinn is going to dominate that mid lane, which he did a really good job in the mid lane.
He did. Yeah, he started off snowballing so damn hard. I kind of feel like the Quincy crew could have done something. I think they could have built items to deal with Bryle a little bit better. Tell me what you think about this. Like, hypothetically, I know a lot of people are really opting to go for this Aghanim Scepter on Void Spirit because the silence is so great.
Oh yeah.
But when you know that the Storm Spirit's eventually going to pick up a BKB, and then all of a sudden that just nullifies all of your disable, wouldn't a Yules be better? Because you can't BKB the Yules into Ether Remnant. Like, I feel like they just needed some sort of instant disable for Bryle. It wasn't the follow-up that they were lacking. It was the instant disable. You know, they had the Winter's Curse. They had the Grimstroke Bubble. They had the Invoker with his Cold Snap. They had Phantom Lancer with a Basher. Like, I really do feel like if they just caught him, he would be dead. And that this is like one of the few games where Yule Scepter Void Spirit probably would have been better. And maybe like an early Sheep on Quinn. Like, let's say his game goes a little bit better. If he can pick up an early Sheep to solve that problem.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's hard to say, you know, with what we were dealt, and even if they had all these tools to just deal with Bryle, you know, you still have Skeeter there on the Dragon Knight that also is going to be something to deal with in its own way. But got to give hats off to Crazy for at least game number 1. They'll score the win on this one, but we're not going to be done yet, gang. We have game number 2 just around the corner. We'll throw to a small break. When we come back, more Beyond the Summit Pro Series action, sponsored by Monster, coming your way.